Guru Nanak might not ring a bell for you, but in other countries, his name is very well known. Today, you will be granted the gift of learning all about Guru Nanak. The word Guru means saintly teacher in Indian. He was in fact the very first Guru and catalyzed a whole generation of them. Not only did he create a whole line of Gurus, but he also created the religion Sikhism, which is the fifth largest religion in the world and which can be traced back to the 1500s. Before we go into the nitty-gritty of all that he did, it is important to understand where he had started. Nanak was born into an upper-caste Hindu family near Lahore, which is located in Pakistan. His environment was richly immersed in Hindu and Muslim religious culture, especially their mystical and devotional forms. Religious life at the time was marked by a syncretic vitality which saw the emergence of a number of ecstatic devotional movements combining aspects of religious traditions. He married and fathered several children and worked as a storekeeper and clerk for a Muslim governor of the province. But Nanak's sensibilities moved him more and more to feel a deep, if at first ill-defined, religious calling. He finally underwent a decisive religious experience in which, according to Sikh tradition, he had a vision of God's presence summoning him to a prophetic mission. The universal thrust of Nanak's mission was signified by his insistent affirmation that there is no Hindu and no Muslim, only those who are disciples of God. After this experience, he left his family and began a long period of wandering and preaching in the company of a Muslim minstrel who provided musical accompaniment for the evangelistic hymns in which Nanak's prophetic message was conveyed. His teachings were unsystematic but imbued with a profoundly self-consistent devotionalism which combined Islamic monotheism with the pervasive aspects of Hindu mysticism. With the combination of these two ideals, Sikhism was officially born. Guru Nanak gave India the gospel of reconciliation, love, and goodwill. As a whole, the country of India became much more spiritual under his ideals. Not only India felt this effect though, as parts of Europe started to take notice of his impact. To this day, people still do blood donations as a way to commemorate Nanak. He is still widely known because he implemented faith and spiritualism on the name of the one creator, tried uniting humankind, and engaged in selfless service, striving for social justice for the benefit and prosperity of all. This was especially important because the culture in India and Pakistan was not nearly as progressive as Nanak wanted it to be. Nanak was an avid fighter for women's rights and helped them get treated with more equality and respect. Because of this, he has many special dances dedicated to him. These dances are very special and are meant to pay respect to his name. They are often performed at temples and mosques. Nanak had a revelation of the one reality. He articulated his experience of the infinite and singular reality as Ek Onkar, which is the quintessential formula of Sikh metaphysics and ethics. In Ek Onkar, Ek or I literally stands for the numeral 1. There is no specification of gender and it cannot be incarnated in any form. Own refers to ultimate unity, and Kar is the celebration of oneself. Nanak's goal was for people of a society to recognize them not for their gender or race, but for their values and contributions to the world. With this, peace runs through and fighting is brought to a minimal number. When believing in Ek Onkar, it represents the one reality you live in where the one supreme God is interconnected with you and everything you do is under his guidance and name. This is the central tenet of Sikh religion and the dream Nanak worked so hard to achieve.
Time, as we've studied in other videos, where the Bhakti movement is on the rise, this notion of devotional love to God within Hinduism. And it's in this context that Guru Nanak becomes a significant, some would say, Bhakti guru, to get a sense of some of his teachings. There is but one God. His name is truth. He is without hate. He is beyond the cycle of births and deaths. He is self-illuminated. So just in this excerpt of some of his sayings, you see elements of the core of Hinduism and elements of Islam. There is but one God, a central tenet of Islam. But then these ideas that really come from a Vedic tradition. God is beyond the cycle of births and deaths, samsara. He is self-illuminated. There's a lot of mention of your inner self, your true self, is one with this God.
Nanak established a great system of work and principles which the next 9 gurus would lament. The villages thrived in trade because of their agricultural advantage, and India had great trade relations with areas such as Southeast Asia. With the money his country earned, Nanak would fruitfully invest right back into it, as getting crops and fertile lands was very important to him. They had a constant cycle of growing and selling, which resulted in a surplus of resources for them. Nanak instituted many holidays and celebrations. A few notable ones are Holi and Diwali. Holi is the celebration of the end of winter and the onset to summer. It is well known for its colorful parades and decor of many flowers. It is always celebrated in mid-March. This year's is actually March 10th. Diwali is a major festival celebrated in October and represents triumph of light over dark. This is similar to how Americans celebrate July 4th. Diwali may have been created by the Sikhs, but interestingly enough, it is also celebrated by the Hindus and Buddhists. Over the course of time, the later Sikh leaders made November 30th, which is Guru Nanak's birthday, a national holiday. It is considered one of the most sacred holidays out of all the celebrations. Guru Nanak represents peace and love. He made sure to preach it every day and night. He is so fascinating because his devotion to God was as close to perfect as you can get. Not only that, but the idea of ek onkar is very different than the Western views that we have today. The no specification of gender really shows what he is all about and really intrigued me. He really makes you think about if we looked past the exterior of someone and just began to judge someone for who they are and not what they look like, cohesion is much more approachable. And if we can focus on what makes us similar and not different, life would be a lot better. Some aha moments for me during research was when I was reading about his early life. Prior to becoming a world-renowned guru, he was a simple store clerk. He was just an average man. But through positive message and hard work, he became a very powerful figure. Another aha moment was when he chose his successor, Guru Angad. Angad was not one of his sons, but Nanak felt that he was the better option than purely going through family line. This goes hand in hand with his personality and belief that everyone deserves to be treated equally. Overall, Guru Nanak left an enormous footprint on history, whether it be his spread of religion and spiritualism, or the cohesion he created within his nation. He was consistent through and through in every aspect. In politics, his positions were always firm, and economically, he stuck to a plan and kept it. He created the infamous religion, Sikhism, which still has many worshippers today. Guru Nanak truly was a great leader and an even better person.